Good morning, everyone. It's Tess, and today is tip 128. And today, I'm actually borrowing something. I'm part of that Unlimited group, which is related to the book Unlimited by Zahar Mahoon, and I'm borrowing a post that Nicole put in there, put in yesterday. And I guess I'm going to apply it to all areas of life, but it was interesting because it was from a TED Talk. It was a article written from a TED Talk, so I'll share this on my page after I get done in this post. But really what it was is after COVID started, TED Talk did a series called How to Be a Better Human. And there was a woman in this that was talking about, I think it was a woman, anyways, it doesn't matter whether it was male or female. They were talking about what happened to them and how they overcame blockages in trying to make changes during COVID. And basically what they said is that when COVID hit, they thought, oh, hey, you know what, March 2020, I'm going to embrace not being so busy. I'm going to use this time to make my life better. I'm going to start running. And now this will apply to all areas of your life, whether you're trying to run, whether you're trying to eat better, whether you're trying to make a green smoothie, whether you're trying to get better health, whether you're trying to get your financial life in order. This will apply everywhere, because what she's talking about is what I think is our biggest obstacle for most of us. And what she said is he or she wanted to use this time to create better habits. Well, that seems to be a great thing, and I think many of us went into that time thinking that. But what was found out is the second that the pandemic hit, all patterns, all habits kind of fell by the wayside because we were looking at a new normal. And I think that's kind of what's going to get ready to happen again as the world changes again. So this article is really informative for right now. And it said, even though I coached people, this person actually was a coach. Even though I coached people for a long time in a very effective science-based method of habit formation, she struggled. And she said, truth be told, for the first few months of the pandemic, hi Dolly, for the first few months of the pandemic, she more or less refused to follow even her own best advice. So it kind of like goes back to, we all struggle. And I keep thinking that now that we are kind of changing our pattern, good morning Dolly, we're going to have to kind of think about the same thing again. Are we going to embrace and try to put the tools into play to make the changes, or could we set ourselves up to fail again? And she came up with some really good points. And again, this is from a TED Talk that happened after COVID. And this is a woman who was trying to get herself to train for a half marathon when COVID first hit. And she is actually a coach using scientific-based approaches, and she herself fell off the wagon. And so what she found insightful is that she was optimistic. She knew she was going to get back into running. She was going to train for a half marathon. But what happened is she set these goals, started trying to do them, and fell off of it right away. And she's like, well, why is this that I fell off of it? You know, we're in the middle of a pandemic. We're all being isolated. Why did I fall off? Because, like I said, she's a coach. She coaches people, scientific method. She knows how it works, and she couldn't do it. So what she found out is that really it depends on our willingness to be bad at our desired behavior. Now that sounds funny because none of us wants to be bad. And she kind of referred to in the article overachievers. And I think most of us always want to be overachievers. We want to reach for the stars. And I often joke that I'm the person who, instead of learning to swim one small stroke at a time, I'm like, dump me in the middle of the ocean and I'll figure out how to swim across. And I actually even have an example of it as a kid where I was with my cousins, and my cousins could swim across this pond that was on my uncle's property. And I just figured since they could do it, I could do it too. And my cousin actually had to pull me in because I couldn't make it. So that is a problem that I think many of us have. And what she says is, the problem is that when we try to set our goals and we set them too high and they're unachievable, it makes it hard to stay committed long term. She said we truly have to kind of break it down so small and such minuscule tasks that we can't ever quit. And really what she said is this person training for half marathons had to actually go back and break it down to 1 minute increments. So in order for her to succeed, she had to break down to 1 minute. All she would commit to, and she stuck to it. And this was the only reason she succeeded, is she committed to a 1 minute running. Even though she was trained athlete, 1 minute running. That's how she broke her roadblock that she had created for herself. And so she said, being good requires that our effort and our motivation need to be equivalent. In other words, the harder a thing is for us to do, the more motivation we need to do it. That's why setting a goal that's too big is not achievable. She said, make sure it's a minuscule, even down to the 1 minute, even down to those that fight for the green smoothie. Just put in one piece of lettuce and all the rest what you like. So then it's just a fruit smoothie. Don't add the sugar, just one piece of lettuce. And each time you can get a little bit more into it. Hi, Kate. Good to see you. I was doing a gratitude journal this morning, Kate, and I actually put you in it. And I more or less said that I want to be like you. I want to be at goal weight for 15 years. Good morning, good morning. But really, and I'll just kind of briefly review, I found a TED Talk in one of my other groups, and it talks about a coach who was trained to help people create better habits. And she talked about when she went into COVID, how she struggled to actually train for a half marathon. And what she identified is that we are so committed to overachieving that we set our goals unrealistically. And this trained athlete, to get herself back into a pattern, had to break down to 1 minute increments. She was only running 1 minute a day. And she was kind of cautioning when we do this, when we set these goals, to make sure that, she said, because like remember, our motivation will come and go. So we have to set our goals so achievable that even when our motivation is gone, we really can't walk away from it. Like she actually broke down to all she committed to was a 1 minute run. And she said what happened is she always wanted to do more, but she had to know in her head that it was only a 1 minute commitment. If she did more, great, but the commit was only 1 minute. So she ran across the day when she truly, that's who it worked right now. Yeah, and it just amazed me. But she said what she did is like, when she was running all these days, some days she did a little bit more, but in her mind, her commitment was only 1 minute. So on those days when she truly did not want to do it, all she had to do was go out there and do that 1 minute. And that was a win. So never, you don't look at all the other things. You always only look at that 1 minute win. And she said, and the whole thing is that you're not going to stay there forever. You're just trying to break your pattern of not wanting to do it. Because eventually you'll get back up again. And she said now, and COVID's been a year now, she goes, now she can run about 15 to 20 minutes a stretch. But she said she went for months with that 1 minute commitment. Huge caseload, people with many issues. Can be over. Yeah, Kate, and I think for you, thank you for what you're doing, because right now there's so many people. I mean, I see anger everywhere, and we need you, but it's also a challenge for you because these caseloads are going to be overwhelming, and I think it's going to be for years to come, unfortunately. And I guess, like you said, if you can, one step at a time. And it's hard sometimes because even me, I look at everything that needs to be done, and sometimes just getting one thing done doesn't seem to be good enough. But I've got to get back to that. One thing is good enough. One small step. 1 minute running. 1 minute walking. If you can't get your green smoothie, one lettuce leaf. One glass of water. 1 ounce of water. Just break it down to something you can do. I was wondering if you started, been thinking about you last night. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because with Kate working. So I guess she is back at it. We're all here for you, Miss Kate. We appreciate you so much. But I guess really what this is kind of talking about is we've got to abandon the grand plans. And I'm notorious for the grand plans. And I do recognize that she's right. When I start breaking things down smaller, I even did it earlier this year. Earlier this year, I was all into the Robin Sharma, the 5 a.m. club. I was going to do and this will tell you how out of hand I am. I decided I was going to do 100 push-ups every single morning. 100. Now again, this isn't on the ground like Doc V did. I was going to do them off the wall or off the dresser, but 100 was not a reasonable goal. And did I last? No. So am I back at it? Yeah, but I only have 10. And that's my commitment, and I'll keep it that commitment till I can gradually grow it and learn to love it. Because I am my worst own enemy when I set expectations that are just not reachable. Like I have grand plans for my garden. I'm taking it one step at a time. I'm learning as I go. I'm improving because I'm not 100%. And it could be so easy for me to quit because this is working, this isn't working. But all I can do is improve one minuscule, and she uses that word minuscule, and I'm going to hold that in my head because it's not even a baby step. It's one minuscule step forward every day, and hold that minuscule step as your goal. The goal will eventually grow, but hold that minuscule step long term so that you can win it, so that you can hold on to it and keep going to it and win every day. It's not 100 push-ups every day. If you have to start with one push-up every day, that's good enough because you've committed, and it's something that you can achieve no matter what comes in your way. No matter if it's the worst possible day in the world, you can do 1 or 2 or 3 off of the dresser or off the wall before you go to bed. If you don't want that green smoothie, just that one piece of lettuce, you'll never taste it, and over time it just gets better. Other people's opinions don't matter. Only mine about me helps too. Yeah, you know what, Kate, and even I've had to deal with that because I do tend to have some struggles with people having expectations of me even within my own area, and I am responsible for me, and I spent too many years trying to help and accommodate other people, and you're never happy unless you're trying to work on what's inside here, and that is the only thing you can do. And then I think when you're feeling good and you're making those small steps and you're succeeding, you actually kind of exude a happy place. And then my hope is that that happy place will tend to help other people feel happy, or at least feel happier when they're in your presence, because then I find that if I keep myself in that higher energy, that happy, joy, love place on the emotional scale, like Kate and I have talked about before, because Kate has an emotional scale, and I was talking once that it blew me away that we have so many more negative emotions than positive emotions. And I don't want to live my life in that place, and too many of us are in that place. So we got to keep seeking higher and make it achievable. I'll apply for Kate. That's awesome. We're going to all celebrate with you, and you'll do it because you've been working on it for months now. That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. And I know you'll do it. And because you've trained, you know the skills, and one small step at a time, we're all going to get there together, and cheering for each other and supporting each other. So I guess really that's what I wanted to kind of say today, is that this article was from COVID, and it was a TED Talk, and I will post it on I'll post it on my Facebook link here. But it was a TED Talk, How to Be a Better Human, and it was a series that was put together after COVID hit on how people were trying to keep going forward. And ironically, this trained coach on helping people to improve their habits struggled with COVID. So none of us should beat ourselves up because we all struggle. And what she recognized, and what will probably make her a greater trainer as the world opens, is that it has to go back to those minuscule steps. Oh, it's so good to see you too. And we will achieve many things together, and we're all here. We can reach out to each other as we struggle. Because one day I'm going to be Kate, and I'm going to be 16 years out at goal weight. And you inspire me and many others every day, Kate. So thank you so much for all that you do for us in our weight loss journey, and for those that aren't in the weight loss journey. And Dolly, thank you so much for always being here and supporting all of us. You guys are amazing, and I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Have a beautiful day, and thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.